Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. 3-hour banger lined up today as we have the NFL back, baby. Sal Paolantonio on the program coming up in 30 minutes. Are the Rams making a mistake? That report yesterday that came out, they're going to get to Australia one day before their Week 1 game against the 49ers. Paul Stone today, give me 2 Utah. Going to preview the Pac-12 and the ACC. Kevin Rogers, Major League Baseball as well. You know, here's all I ask for tonight. Because we do have Arizona and Carolina. Chances are it's going to be a boring football game, probably a dud. And for those of you who, for weeks now, probably going back to May, have been saying, give me Miami and Tennessee right now. I need football in my veins. No complaining. Football's back. So no pissing and moaning over tonight if it's 10-6 and nothing happens and you don't recognize anybody. Don't want to hear it.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of flags.
No, there will be. There will be.
It'll be messy.
But enjoy it because this is the fastest summer I can ever remember. And we never, usually, like in June, July, we're saying, God, please fast forward to the NFL. Didn't have to do it this year because the World Cup carried us. And it's here quicker than ever.
Yep.
And it's a great feeling, man, to have it back.
Well said. And the A's lost again. You bet against the A's and you bet on the Red Sox. Just rinse, repeat.
What do you think?
Piece of cake?
The Reds were probably a small number just to have the sweep in that series.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Well, do you see the A's play tomorrow?
I didn't look yet.
They go to Fenway for 3. What's that series price?
Watch, it's baseball. Watch the A's take 2 out of 3.
Oh, man. Boston's won 30 of 35. The A's are 5-28, and they've lost 34 of 43. Oh, man.
Yeah, not going so hot. I might be on the wrong Bay Area team to have the most losses in baseball.
Yeah, well, the way they're right, no doubt. Yeah. But you're right. It's great to have it back. I think there's a lot of bets to be made with Arizona and their futures. But I'm surprised that the last 4 Hall of Fame games have gone over.
Yeah.
We've seen under money now down to 33.5 in some spots.
It was 36.5 not that long ago.
That's right. Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, well, here's what I wanted to do with the game, and that is, and I assumed going in today that most books would not allow you to tease the game, because I would be intrigued by a 2-team teaser on this game. Give me Arizona plus 7.5 when it was 1.5, and then tease it down, or tease it, below like 41.5. I did find a book that allowed to do that, but the juice is actually higher now than it is in the regular season, and typically, like the Wong teasers, you can kiss the minus 110 goodbye. You still want to lay the minus 115, 120, whatever you might be able to find. So a 6.5 point teaser to get it above like 41.5 or below, I should say. And then 7.5 as well was like minus 130 in that range. But you can find it if you shop around.
Yeah, but sure. There could be a surprise tonight, though, too.
Haynes King?
Well, who knows? But look at these quarterbacks that are playing, right? I mean, I kind of like what Joe Osborne did. He bet Carolina first half, pointing out that you have a veteran in Pickett and a guy who has played well in his career in the preseason. So you have that angle. So you're going to have Beck and Slovis for Arizona and Pickett and Haynes King, and maybe you're right. Maybe King is the perfect guy where not on the same page, play breaks down, I'll just take off and run for 10 yards and move the chains, and it works out.
Yeah. For those who don't know, King threw for nearly 3,000 yards. He ran for almost 1,000 more last year. And in his 3 years with the Ramblin' Wreck, he had about 2,300 yards on the ground over the 3 years. So that could be a big deal tonight when, I don't know, you like to think that a rookie quarterback in the Hall of Fame game is going to like go through his progressions. He might look at one dude he's covered. He's like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm taking off. So that's the kind of guy. And that's why I'm a little bit scared here to bet Arizona plus and by the way, like, over the years, we've learned that the key number is actually like 1.5 or 2 probably in the preseason because teams do not want to play for overtime. Right?
I thought they got rid of it.
They flipped that over the years?
I believe they did.
Okay, yeah, well, that was a thing. That turned into a thing for many, many years, actually. So unders were 7-2 in the previous 9 games going into the 4 before that. In the most recent 7 games had a total of 34 or higher. Unders there are 6-1. Cardinals preseason history, I'm going to throw that out with the new staff, Paulie. Mm-hmm. And the Panthers, I think there is something here because Canales has been there for a minute now.
It was ugly last year.
Oh, yeah. And if you go back the last 3 years, much of this has been like with the same kind of core guys. They've averaged 11.7 points per game, 1-8 straight up in ATS last 9 preseason games. There might be something to that.
Yep. Well, I don't like this. LaFleur comes in, so you have the new coach angle, but also it's his first game and maybe it's messy and ugly. Nathaniel Hackett is the OC.
Yeah, that's correct.
Come on.
I know it.
He's got to have pictures of somebody.
Well, how does he even...
And it was in Denver.
How does he get a paycheck from any team in the NFL at this point?
Oh, that's bizarre. But I played 4.5 under minus 170. This team lost 14 of their last 15 games.
Uh-huh.
The defense was horrendous. The only win to close, and there were some close losses, but the only win was the Monday night game against the Cowboys. So I don't.
That was on the road too, wasn't it?
Yes, right. I don't know I don't understand this 4 running back thing, and taking Love this high in the draft. But the schedule is brutal, and they are plus 250 to have the worst record in the league. They are plus 240 to be the last winless team as well. Find me the win here? Who are they going to beat early on? If they can't beat the Giants on the road week 4, this schedule and the bye is week 14 at the Chargers, Seattle, at San Francisco, at the Giants, Detroit, Rams, Denver, Dallas, Seattle, Rams, Kansas City. Look at this.
I know.
And they can't stop anything, how bad they were defensively, and they lost 14 of their last 15 games, and they're going to run it back with Brissett? So, yes, you have Harrison and McBride and Love and all the hype with the running back position, but that schedule is, and rightfully so. I mean, everyone just assumes they're going to be the worst team. They are 22-1 not to win a game, which is available at Caesars. But this is going to be a lousy outfit.
I think there's far too much talent in offense for them to be in the conversation for winless for the entire year.
Now, are they the worst team in the league record-wise? Because Miami does get the Raiders week 1. So as bad as Miami might be, that's only like a 3-point spread.
It's a good question because I do think the Cardinals' roster overall is clearly better than Miami's roster. The Dolphins probably have the worst. I think we can agree on this, right? Don't they have the worst roster overall in football? That is an absolute stink bomb in South Florida. So my question is, with all the guys that you just rattled off on offense, and I mean, we're talking about some of the best at their positions in all of football, aren't they going to outscore somebody just on accident, where their defense actually steps up? Maybe they create a couple of turnovers in one game, strip sack, whatever it is.
Who?
I'll give you one.
Who?
What if this is another down year for the 49ers, like every other year? They are an 11 or 12 win team. They're a threat in the playoffs, and they have 100 injuries, and they win 6 games. That happened, 2 years ago? They bounced back last year. Maybe they win week 3 at San Francisco. I think they shocked the world against San Francisco in one of their recent games. Was it last year or the year before?
Man, they put up 41 on them on the road last year.
Well, they had 20 guys who missed training camp practice yesterday.
Yeah.
If they're down and out without 100 guys, the Giants could be that team, obviously. I'm trying, Paulie. I'm trying to come up with a win or two before, because here's another thing that really sucks bet? For them.
It's plus 250, the team to get the last win.
Yeah, it seems so obvious, but
yeah,
I don't mind if this is where they get another screw job. They don't have the bye week until week 14.
That's right.
So a brand new coach.
What if something happens to Brissett too?
Yeah, and then you have to go to a rookie quarterback. Enough with Minshew.
No,
no. Good God, I want to see what you have with Carson Beck. You took him early enough in the draft.
I'm starting November 9th of last year. Points allowed: 44, 41, 27, 45, 40, 26, 37, 37. Oh man!
So I would ask you, won't the defense almost be better by default? They have some good players on defense overall.
But I also face a tougher schedule though too.
I know.
Much tougher.
Can they? Well, the Seahawks are going to have extra rest, by the way, for that week 2 game because they play, obviously, right away to begin the year against New England. Will the Seahawks overlook them in week 2? They're going to be a huge favorite in that game, obviously. But give me the spot where the Cardinals are not a gigantic dog right away. It would probably be the game against the Giants on the road.
Flip it. What do you think about? When I look at this division, I still can't believe the disrespect with Atlanta. You love Stefanski. I don't, but still.
Well, now
for him to come in, and regardless, and it's probably going to be Tua, but also you wouldn't think this would be a good offense for Tua. He just has to dump it off, and they have so many playmakers. For Atlanta's win total to be 6.5, look at that price to win the division. And if they just take care of the ball, and the defense improved last year, you got the mess with Baker in the contract as well, and it's a love affair with the Saints. I mean, a ton of people are picking them to win the division.
It seems a little, and I'm one of them, it seems a little bit too popular at this point. I've changed my tune on Atlanta. Now they've had back-to-back, like, pretty severe injuries. Yesterday, the bad news there. Walker's going to be out for the entire year. And I just, the more I thought about it and looked at everything, I can't get there with the quarterback situation.
I'm with you. I was just going to say that. Yeah, he had some good moments, but he's Jekyll and Hyde.
And then how long does he play? And then, by the way, the guy who is the backup as of right now, in theory anyway, Penix, more injury prone than he is. I don't like the recipe.
I thought you were talking about Bryce Young. Are you talking about?
Oh, and I'm still on Atlanta here for a second. Yeah. But it's the same thing goes. And that's, by the way, another thing to think about tonight. Look at all the injuries for Carolina so far in training camp. Yeah. Don't you think Canales is like, let's run the ball 3 times, punt, and get the hell out of here?
Could be. That's right.
So who's your team in that division?
I think the value with Atlanta. I think they can find a way with all that talent to get to, who knows, maybe 9 wins gets it done. But I just think the love affair with the Saints is too much.
How many?
I'm not a Bryce Young fan, and in Tampa, certainly that was an embarrassment. What happened to Tampa last year?
I think if you're betting Atlanta, like positive bets here for the Falcons, how many combined starts do you need from Tua and Penix? You need like 14, 15? I don't know if you're going to get that. We'll update the Major League Baseball card coming up next, look at games later on tonight, and go over season-long specials. I'll tell you about a bet at plus money that should be a good one based on where we are at right now in the season. That's coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We get the NFL back tonight. Hall of Fame game, Cardinals, Panthers, and more on that now as we go out to the Progressive guest line. Hall of Famer, longtime friend of the show, Sal Paolantonio drops by. Mr. Paolantonio, thank you so much for the time today. How you been?
You know, man, Mitch and Paulie, it's Sal P to you. I'm just so happy real football is back. I'm so happy about that.
You're not the only one. What do you think of this game tonight, these two teams in the preseason and beyond that this year?
Well, I think you got to look at both of these teams and say, okay, can Carolina, retain and recreate the magic that they had last year? I would say the answer to that is no. I think that the division will be much tougher and they'll have a much more difficult time. I'm not a great big believer in Bryce Young. I think he's too up and down, gives away the football too much. Arizona is a constant reclamation project. They really don't have an identity. I don't know what their identity is going to be. They'll probably be a top 5 team next year in the draft again. So, it's just good to have the game back. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see Carson Beck and how he operates, the offense. I mean, that's the number one thing that I look for in the preseason because not many coaches will play their starters at all in the preseason anymore. Only a few do, like Harbaugh, Dan Campbell in Detroit. There's only a few that do. But what you want to see, first and foremost, is some of these rookie quarterbacks, A, are they capable of operating an NFL offense? 2, are they capable of delivering the football on time and accurately? So I'm interested to see as training camps and preseason games go ahead, whether, the first round pick in Las Vegas, whether he can get in the game and deliver the ball on time and accurately. And I think that he will be a great NFL player. I think the sky's the limit for that young man. I think he's going to be terrific. I think he got the right coaching at Indiana. Mm-hmm. I like everything about him. I really do.
Arizona has a brand new coaching staff. They cleaned house. I think that to you, that's a big talking point of all the new head coaches and OCs and DCs in this league.
Guys, the NFL has never been more volatile and unsettled. And it was bad last year. Last year, there were 62 different starting quarterbacks in the NFL last year. That's an insanely high number. And that was a record, 62. And mostly it's due to injury, poor play, changes in coaching staffs. And these coaches now, they know that they have a shorter and shorter leash. Some of these owners, they're talking 2, forget 3 years. You got 2. And 8 new head coaches, 16 new defensive coordinators, 20 new offensive coordinators. So you got to look at 20 out of 32 teams and say, operationally, what's happening that's different? And that's so important when you're making out your fantasy football teams, when you're putting money down on these teams. Look at what the operation is. Look at what Clint Kubiak's going to do in Las Vegas and how that's going to impact the running backs because of what he did in Seattle. Look at the changes to the offensive coaching staff in Detroit and how that's going to impact, for instance, Sam Laporta and the way they're going to operate their offense. I'm really bullish on Detroit. I think Detroit is going to score a lot more points. They're going to be a lot more consistent on offense and more well-rounded. And if they can stay healthy, I think Detroit wins that division. I really do.
We're on the same page there.
Yeah, and look at to me, the team that is Super Bowl or bust is Buffalo. The last time I was covering a Buffalo Bills game, the Bills were a train wreck. Josh Allen coughed the ball up 4 times. He was crying in the locker room after the game. He got his head coach fired. To me, Josh Allen's on the clock. He's got Joe Brady there, and they are apparently doing everything they possibly can to change not only the offense but the defense, go from a 4-3 to a 3-4, with the window open on Josh Allen. Allen has to take care of the football. Allen has to deliver a Super Bowl appearance this year, in my opinion. I think it's Super Bowl or bust for Josh Allen.
I would agree. He's got to get there at least one time in his career. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The great Sal Paolantonio with us on the Progressive Guest Line. How about the Philadelphia Eagles in that division? You buying the Giants hype?
Well, the Giants are going to be better, guys. I mean, they have to be better. Do you know the Giants have scored the fewest touchdowns in the last 10 years in the National Football League? The fewest. So by accident, they have to be better. But they got to get their act together. Apparently, they still have a problem with pre-snap penalties in training camp. I haven't gone to West Virginia, but I heard that was the epidemic problem that they're still having offensively.
They're the number 1 over team with all the bettors. I'm not buying it
I know.
either.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
the most money on over is on the Giants.
Yeah.
And I think that's because of New York and because the New York media has fallen in love with John Harbaugh. And why wouldn't they? You know, it's been a long time since they had the guy with the credentials of Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. They've gone through the dance now for 5 or 6 different coaches who just weren't able to deliver. So I get that. But, you know, don't let that cloud your honest vision of where the team is. A lot of things have to go right for the Giants to win the division, but they will definitely be better than they were last year. I don't like the over. I don't for the Giants yet. I just don't. I'm not convinced. I haven't seen enough. Definitely have not seen enough in terms of the number of wins. There are, I think, if you count Dallas, I guess you could count Dallas, but let's just say you don't. 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC East have different offensive coordinators. It's crazy. Now, I've been to Eagles camp a lot, obviously. Man, oh man, Mekhi Lemon can't stay on the field. I don't know what they have in Eli Stowers. They have to definitely rein in Lane Johnson and Dallas Goedert. Those guys have got a lot of wear on their tires. And to me, I don't know. What do I know? I've only been doing the matchup show for 22 years, but I mean, asking Jalen Hurts to play under center, it's like asking Miles Davis to play the violin. I mean, you probably could ask Miles Davis to play the violin, and he would probably get good music out of it. And, you're going to ask Jalen Hurts to do something he's never really done in his career and be a predominantly under center quarterback. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I really don't.
That doesn't sound good. You sounded the alarms last year because you said studying the tape, the problem with the offense was Hurts.
The problem was Hurts, but it was sort of a trickle-down effect because the offensive line was hurt. And Lane Johnson, the math is very simple. When Lane Johnson's on the field, the Eagles win 66% of their games. When he's off the field, they lose 66% of their games. Now, the offensive line has struggled in the last 3 or 4 days in camp. Why? Because Lane Johnson hasn't been on the field. He's had an excused absence. So Jalen Hunt has gone off from the defensive end position. The Eagles will, in my view, will three-peat for the NFC East because the defense is going to be that good.
Okay.
I think the defense will be that good. And remember, they scored 22 points a game last year. If they just get it to 25 or 6 points a game, add a field goal, and their defense has only given up 18 to 19 like they did last year, they're going to be right in it for the NFC Championship game again. They don't have to score 30 points a game. They don't have to look like the Niners of the 80s. They just got to score 3 or 4 points more per game than they did last year. If they do, it's not a heavy lift. It's not a heavy ask. And I wouldn't try to reinvent the wheel if I was Sean Mannion.
Well said. Great talking to you. Enjoy the game tonight. And we'll be in touch throughout the preseason and talk to you on a weekly basis throughout the regular season, pal.
We're back on Follow the Money with Mitch and Paulie. I love it.
Enjoy the cannolis.
Yes.
Thank you. Hall of Famer for a reason. You're the best. Oh, it didn't sound good there for a while about the Eagles' offense.
Almost made it sound like they're going to win the division by default.
Yeah.
Which I think the division's better this year, though, is the problem.
Week 1, 4.5 at home to Washington. What's that? Where do I get there? From 12-5 to 5-12, and they signed Diggs yesterday. Don't
you think the Commanders are one of the biggest unknowns going into the season? I think the Cowboys are going to be pretty damn good.
Cousin Sal was on while you were out. And Jastrzemski's like, I like your Cowboys. He goes, what? What are you looking at?
Oh, no, they're good.
You think they're going to be okay?
Oh, they're good.
Really?
They're scary to me, yeah.
10 wins?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, win-lose coming up next. And I'll tell you how you can be a part of the Fans of VSiN Fantasy Football League this year coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
College football talk here as we go out to the Progressive guest line. Longtime friend of the show, professional bettor Paul Stone joins the program now. And you can follow him on X at Paul Stone Sports. We're going to hit the Pac-12 coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll start ACC. Paul, good to talk to you as always. Thanks for the time. We appreciate that. Let's begin here. News today that came out after the mess last year in Chapel Hill for the Tar Heels. Belichick back for year number 2. Well, unfortunately, his son, Steve, is going to step away from the program for a little while on medical leave. Hope that he's obviously going to be okay and healthy and can maybe rejoin the team at some point. But they have a very low win total, around 4.5 this year. How bad are we talking about for the Tar Heels again this year?
Yeah, we've got they went 4-8 last year in Bill Belichick's first season as the head coach there at North Carolina. This year, we're seeing their total at 4.5. It's actually juiced to the over, so I'm seeing plus 105 on the under there at BetMGM. You know, I made this line. Of course, the house is going to make these lines regular season win totals on a half a win for obvious reasons, but I made it 4, slightly juiced to the over. So my number was pretty much in tune with the house's number. But, you know, you just look at this team. First of all, we'll look on the field. And looking on the field, Mitch, there's just nothing really to suggest that this North Carolina team in year 2 under Belichick and company is any better than they were in year 1. We have a change at quarterback. Billy Edwards, who's played at both Maryland, started games at both Maryland, and then a couple of games at Wisconsin as well. He is in at quarterback, replacing Gio Lopez. You look at the rest of the roster, there's just not, they've got a big-time defensive lineman, but there's just not a whole lot of difference makers on this Tar Heel team. Off the field, I mean, the North Carolina football program is almost a joke. I won't get into any, gory details, but Bill Belichick's 25-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, she's a household name. I think most college football fans could tell you who Jordan Hudson is, but could they name 2 members of the North Carolina football team? So that kind of attests to where this program is. Also heard a recent report that Jordan Hudson is to be copied on football-related matters, emails and other communications. Whether that's true or not, just the fact that it's reported is bad enough, damning enough there. Then we had our GM, Michael Lombardi, placed on administrative leave a couple of weeks back, unknown whether he's going to return. And now just today, again, as you mentioned, defensive coordinator and the head coach's son, Steve Belichick, on medical leave indefinitely. Like you said, hope he's well and not facing serious medical issues. But, in my mind, just put a tent over Kenan Stadium. Call it what it is. It's a circus, an absolute circus. I can't see this team going 5-7. They're just last year they had the 33rd toughest schedule according to Phil Steele. This year the 13th toughest schedule, might be the toughest schedule in the ACC. Give me under 4.5 regular season wins plus 105 there at BetMGM.
Great case, my friend. Well done. Okay, so Clemson's supposed to be down. I respect the SMU program. We talked about the coaches poll yesterday, and we thought wasn't enough respect for Miami. How about Miami, $1.35 to win the league?
Saying I think I maybe said as much in some previous appearances this summer, Paulie, but a lot of people see a minus price or a real short plus price, and they just say, man, well, there's no value in that. And sometimes in my mind, that's where the value lies. You go to some of these mid-tier teams that are at 6-1 and 7-1, and they don't hardly have a chance in heck of winning it. But, this is kind of, to me, like the Big 12. Texas Tech just looks head and shoulders above everybody in the Big 12. And to me, Miami, even though they maybe have a little more depth of competition, kind of looks the same there in the ACC. Going back to last year, they lose to SMU there the first day of November. Looks like their playoff hopes are on life support. That's probably putting it mildly. But they're down the stretch, they post 4 impressive victories, didn't really beat anybody of note. Didn't seem like they were going to be in the playoff, but in the days leading up to the playoff committee's final decision, kind of started leaking out that maybe they had a shot, and indeed they got in. And once in the tournament, Miami made the most of it. Obviously won 3 games over 3 really good opponents: Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Ole Miss. Lost in that championship game to the national champion Indiana Hoosiers 27-21. But you guys watch that game. Could have gone either way. We could be speaking of them today as the defending national champion. And really looking at their roster, the main difference from this year to last year, first of all, are those defensive ends. Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor, both selected in the first round of this past April's NFL draft. And then also, certainly, you have to mention the quarterback position. Their one-year rental, Carson Beck, no longer, he's out of eligibility. And in steps Darian Mensah on his 3rd program in 3 years. Began his career at Tulane as an under-recruited guy, then spent last year at Duke, and then now at Miami this year. And a lot of people, especially insiders within that program, will tell you that Mensah is an improvement over Carson Beck. That remains to be seen, but certainly I don't think the position is down. You look at this lineup again, it is loaded. Running back Mark Fletcher, one of the best running backs in the entire college game. Malachi Toney, you talking about a Swiss Army knife, a jack of all trades. I know you love the statistic, Paulie, all-purpose yards. I've spent enough time with you to know how much you despise that statistic, but at the same time, I think it bears noting Malachi Toney, more than 1,600 all-purpose yards last year, 109 receptions. He probably won't get a ton of Heisman Trophy consideration regardless of how well he plays this year. It's just not a wide receivers award, despite what Devontae Smith did a couple of years back. But, man, Malachi Toney, one of the best players in all of college football, a true playmaker. They've got the NIL advantage over that conference. They've got that program rolling right now. They're going to be obviously a a 7-point underdog at Notre Dame in that game, but they're going to be a 2-touchdown or more favorite by my numbers in at least 8 games. There's at Clemson on October 18th. Also, I should mention -7 in the game of the year markets. So I just think this is going to be, it's Miami's game to lose. I think they're going to, be tough to beat. I don't see them being beat. I like the Hurricanes. I think you said it was available actually at -135 to win the ACC title game at DraftKings, and I like Miami to win the ACC title.
Excellent. Good breakdown as well. How about a game of the year involving Miami as well, but you want to go against them?
Yeah, and I'm not trying to have it both ways, but, this is a game of the year there in November. Virginia Tech coming in. Currently, game of the year lines at DraftKings. Miami favored by 16.5 over Virginia Tech. Obviously, there's a lot of energy swirling around that Virginia Tech program with the hiring of former Penn State and Vanderbilt head coach James Franklin. They got a school record $75 million gift in early June, most of that earmarked for athletics. So there's financial energy around the program as well, which obviously is a big part of today's game. This is going to be the Hokies' 11th game of the year when they face off going to Miami. And I think that's important because the system and the players should be well acclimated to one another. I think they'll be better at the end of the year than they are at the beginning. Their quarterback's going to be Ethan Grunkemeyer. He's a guy who started 7 games after Franklin was fired early in the 2025 season. Grunkemeyer almost beat Indiana. They came one play from beating the Hoosiers, and then they did close with 4 straight victories in Grunkemeyer's final 4 starts of the season. You're going to have your money tied up in this game of the year since it is in late November for 3.5 months. So you have to ask yourself, am I getting a better number today than I can get the week of the game? And at 16.5, I'm kind of taking the tricky position here that I think it is more likely to dip 2.5, since 15 and 16 are dead numbers, more likely to dip 2.5 points to 14 points than it is to go up 0.5 point to 17. I think this has got 2 touchdowns all over it. I think 16.5 is a good number here. I like Virginia Tech plus 16.5 over Miami in games of the year.
And you think if you had to project like a positive outcome potentially, from the start of the season to the very end at Vatech, do you think it's something that we're going to be able to notice right away with Franklin taking over as the head coach?
As far as towards the end of the year?
Yeah. You can just tell like Franklin did a really good job in year 1.
Yeah, I think he's going to do a pretty good, job. There's nowhere to go but up. They just won 3 games last year, 3-9. They were 6-7 the year before. They've got some talent. They upgraded in the portal. They've got Copeland, a defensive tackle. He bench pressed over 500 pounds a couple of weeks ago, a program record. He's an NFL guy that they're salivating over. So they've got some players, and I just see a lot of enthusiasm again around the program. I think the Hokies are on the a trend upwards, and I think we'll be able to see some improvement from game 1 till the end of the season this year.
Very good. Hang tight. We'll get to the Pac-12 coming up next. By the way, PCA with a hit with nobody out, bottom of the 11th. Kelly was coming around 3rd. He was tagged out at home. They wanted to replay. I think he's out, though, isn't he?
Oh, he's out. They're not going to
dead to rights. Okay, yeah.
Dead to rights.
So there's 1 out now, and there's an intentional walk. So the Cubbies with the runners on 1st and 2nd. Tie ball game, bottom of the 11th. We'll get Paul Stone's best bets for the Pac-12 coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Talk baseball here as Kevin Rogers joins the program. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow him on X at Rogers Picks with Prize Picks. So he found a market at the beginning of the season. I'm going to say that this is the 3rd incredible market that we've had on the show so far today. Your September special, highest scoring game in the NFL that month. You're on the Lions Bills at 12-1. Paul Stone found how many teams will have 6+ regular season wins in the Pac-12.
Right.
And he bet that under at BetMGM. That's a great find by him. And Kevin, you've been tracking. Explain this to us. It's something to do with Nick Martinez and the Rays, and it's absolutely astonishing.
Mitch, Paul, good to be on with you guys. And what I track from Hard Rock here in Florida is they have a prop for every baseball game. It's total pitches thrown. So every pitch thrown by every pitcher in any given game. And usually it's between like 280 and 310, depending on the teams and the pitchers and all that. So Nick Martinez of the Tampa Bay Rays, who doesn't walk a lot of batters, so doesn't throw a lot of pitches, because a lot of balls are put in play. He's made 22 starts this season. He is 21-1 to the under on the total pitches thrown prop so far this season. The one over came against the Marlins in an extra innings loss, a game that would have stayed under through 9 innings, but Tampa Bay tied the game in the 9th inning, and then the teams combined for 11 runs in the 10th inning. So obviously had a lot of pitches, a lot of runs scored. So Nick Martinez was that close to being 22-0 to the under on his total pitches thrown prop so far this season.
Okay, that is absolutely wild. So this is combined pitches, both teams, obviously. And you've been tracking it all year. At the Hard Rock specifically, have you seen it like at any other sports book?
I have not. I've looked at DraftKings and FanDuel. I mean, I don't know if anybody else does offer it, but you would have thought maybe one of those two, since they're so popular, would offer it, but I did not see it there. And the Hard Rock, not to say I don't know why they do it, but I guess they found something that it worked out. And honestly, if you track it all the time, I know it's a big ask to do.
Yeah.
But really, I've seen you only have very few games that come within a few pitches of the total. You know, if the total's a 293.5. Very few games land on 293 or 295. Usually, if it's like 293.5, it'll land on 270, or it would land on 310. It would be so far off. You just got to find the right pitchers. I don't really think the umpires, if you track the umpires too, if it really has a lot to do with it, but you could find these guys that don't throw a lot of pitches. And the other one I'll mention you guys too, the Rockies, everyone talks about them at home, all the runs scored, these crazy games. The Rockies are 44-14 to the under on their total pitches thrown prop at Coors Field this season.
How about that?
Another great find.
Now, like you said, this has got to be time consuming, obviously, right? Is there like a box score that you can find, total pitches overall? You got to do the math on this and just count them up from the relievers, the starters, the whole thing.
You go to ESPN.com and you could find the total pitches for each team and just add them up quickly. You know, or you can find some other sites. I think Baseball Savant has it too. I know in the MLB app, it makes it a little more difficult. You have to do every single pitcher. They don't have the total for each team. But I know the ESPN, on the website, you can go to the box score and they have them there. So it makes it easy to do. Yeah, it's a little bit time consuming, but it is worth it because you could find some good nuggets with it.
Oh, no doubt. So Jameson Taillon went yesterday. He has been a gas can as of late. How bad are we talking with him?
So he was with the Cubs most of the season. He got sent to Toronto, and they actually won that game yesterday against Houston. But before yesterday, he was 0-10-5 in the first 5 innings. And then he trailed 3-0 through the first 5 yesterday against Houston. And interestingly enough, the Blue Jays scored 3 in the top of the 6th to tie that game and then eventually won. But Jameson Taillon is the only pitcher in Major League Baseball with at least 10 starts this year that has not led through 5 innings.
Have you noticed what the opposing pitcher has been typically in the first 5 against him?
As far as price, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it varies a bit. You know, if you were to look back, yesterday he was a heavy dog against Hunter Brown.
Right.
So, that one you would have had to probably even lay maybe minus 120 just on the half run through the first 5. But at least I'm looking back at some of the pitchers he faced recently against Braxton Ashcraft of the Pirates. That was on the road. So, I don't think he was that huge of a dog. But even at home against Detroit, he trailed. San Francisco is a push against the A's at home against Gage. Don't call me Gordon Jump, but he trailed in that one. So you could probably find some decent prices. We'll see moving forward with him. But I think he'll be a huge dog just because now he's stuck on Toronto and the Blue Jays aren't very good.
How about a positive and a negative here with some first 5s again? We were just talking about futures on Detroit. 7th easiest remaining schedule. They've scored 8+ runs in 7 of their last 8. How great have they been first 5 going back?
Paul, they don't need Tarek Skubal or Casey Mize, apparently. They're fine. They're 11-1-2 now in the first 5 innings after today in the past 14 games in the first 5 innings. So they played really well in this road trip out west. I know the A's have been terrible and the Mariners have struggled, but they've gotten off to good starts, which has been, positive for them, even though they're probably not going to make the playoffs. And on the flip side, Minnesota's at Kansas City tonight. Minnesota 0-6-1 in the first 5 innings in their past 7 games. They've been outscored 21-4 in that span. And Paulie, your favorite guy, remote controls on the mound tonight, Bailey Ken Ober. So we'll see if he could turn things around for them against the Royals.
Yeah. Well, not only the Tigers in the first 5, but this thing with this Red Sox machine all of a sudden. Evidently, this is real. Not just a blip for like a month, hot streak for 6 weeks, whatever. Like they might win the whole thing, I guess. But the American League take on the Dodgers. Who knows? I mean, how good have they been in the first 5 as well?
Going back, Mitch, to June 23rd, when they score at least 1 run in the first 5 innings, 32 times, 1 run, 25-4-3. So basically, if the offense can just do a little bit, the pitching's been good. Like, you got to give them that Sonny Gray has been a fantastic pickup for them. Ranger Suarez has pitched well, and some of the other young lefties, basically a bunch of lefties and Sonny Gray in that rotation. But maybe the Alex Cora firing was the best thing for them, that they needed a new voice in there. It took a little bit of time, but this run is remarkable. I think what's even more remarkable is they're still in 3rd place in that division behind the Rays and the Yankees, that they still have work to do. Mm-hmm. But right now, sitting in the playoffs, maybe they can make a run if they get into the postseason. But they just have started these games very well. And they got the A's this weekend. They can take advantage of that. The White Sox have struggled. If they could win tonight, then they'll keep making headway.
I can't wait to see what that series price is when they host the A's tomorrow. What do you have on the A's? Well, they've lost like 13 straight series, right? When's the last time they won a road series?
Last time they won a road series of all teams, they won at Wrigley Field in early June. They took 2 of 3 from the Cubs, which is very weird.
Naturally.
And the last time they won a series overall didn't come in Sacramento. It didn't come in any team that has a major league team. Any city has a major league team. It came in Las Vegas against the Rockies. That was the last time they won a series. And that series, remember, Game 3, they gave up 23 runs to the Rockies in the final one. So that's like their punctuation for the last time they won a series, which is amazing.
Oh, great stuff here. Follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Kevin Rogers. Follow him on X, @RogersPicks. He's with Prize Picks. How about some trendy K props right now, either under or over when they're facing, the opposing team, and who's been good at that?
We got 2 of them, Mitch, going into tomorrow because these teams don't play today, but the Rangers and the Yankees to keep an eye on. First for Texas. I know they've been a bit of a disaster recently. I know they took 2 from San Francisco. It's not very good. But opposing starting pitchers last 37 games, and we're taking out openers. These are guys that are not guys pitching like 1 inning. Opposing starting pitchers last 37 against Texas, 29-8 to the under since June 22nd, including the last 9 lefties have all gone under. Wow. So Texas has done a good job not striking out against opposing starting pitchers. On the flip side, the Yankees, they strike out a lot. 9-1 to the over opposing starting pitchers on their K prop the last 10 against New York. And what's interesting is they were 9-0 going into yesterday, and it turned out that Palante from the Cardinals finished 1 strikeout short. So they were that close to being 10-0. Now they face the Braves tomorrow. No pitcher listed yet, so we don't know who it's going to be. But, Yankees striking out a ton. Rangers have not struck out a lot lately.
Very good. Love the conversation. Is there a bet to be made on the schedule tonight for the remaining? I think we have, 4 more games coming up tonight?
No, I don't have anything crazy. The one I do like, though, is Walker Buehler under 3.5 strikeouts for the Padres. Arizona, second fewest strikeouts against opposing starting pitchers. And I know you guys talked about it earlier. The Buehler, they're winning games with him on the mound, but he has not been good. He got racked by the Diamondbacks last time he faced him. I just don't have faith that he can pick up 4 strikeouts tonight against this Arizona team. Arizona doesn't, they have a low whiff rate. Low K rate against righties, so we're going to go with Walker Buehler under 3.5 strikeouts. Best bet tonight in baseball.
Very good. There's also something that you've tracked as well. The game's already in progress, so no good for tonight, but keep an eye on how often the Nationals have walked against opposing starters. Yeah, that's, I think, specifically when Wood is in the lineup, though.
Yeah, and it's 2+ times, 23 of the past 26 games for Washington, including 12 straight. They got Christopher Sanchez tonight, who actually walked 8 batters in his past 2 starts. So maybe they get him on him struggling a bit with that. But Washington keeps finding ways to walk. They may not win, but they're walking.
Yeah, very good. Kevin, pleasure. Dynamite as always. Thank you for the time. Best of luck tonight.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, love those stats. Love the info. Join us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow him on X @RogersPicks. Up next, we'll get into our best bets with in-pocket plays and follow the money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.